Hello again, everyone. This is Chris Sciria, and that's Robert Harding. This is the Citizen Sports Weekly for January 23rd, 2015. A little different view this week. You don't see the dry board there behind us. We were having technical difficulties, so we had to move our location. Actually, we're in the same room, but the light went out above us, so that's why we had to move it. So that's why we look a little bit different. Anyways, no picks this week. We're going to save our $1 million Super Bowl pick. No, it's not $1 million Super Bowl pick. We're going to save our Super Bowl picks till next week. So with the bye week, we originally were going to discuss the Bills and the Dolphins off-season so far, but then Deflategate happened. You know what's amazing about this? All everybody was talking about on Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, was the amazing comeback by the Seahawks over the Packers in the NFC Championship game.
This is true.
That was the topic of conversation. And then late at night, the first little inklings came out that, hey, you know something? Patriots may have been fooling around with the footballs a little bit. Might have affected the outcome of the game. And then, boosh.
This is why my dad used to hide the air pump for the football.
Yeah. The floodgates opened. And we have ourselves the biggest story of the week, and arguably the biggest story of the year so far, because it's only been 3 weeks. Hopefully this is not the biggest sports story of the year, because I really think this is much ado about nothing.
It's got to go uphill for me, right?
I know. Well, the fun thing is, how is it going to affect the Patriots for the Super Bowl? But we'll get into that later. I mean, when I say much ado about nothing, I'm not trying to
Defend the Patriots?
Right, I'm not trying to defend the Patriots. I'm not trying to make it look like that I condone any type of cheating or trying to work around the rules or trying to gain an unfair advantage. The point I'm trying to make is that when you really look at this game, the footballs had no impact whatsoever on the outcome of the game. Okay, supposedly the doctored footballs were used in the first half when the Patriots were up 17-7, and then the footballs were reinflated, fixed for the second half. And, of course, the Patriots just rolled along, and it didn't really have any impact. So the question is why did the Patriots, if they did cheat, and we're not going to, say they're guilty. It's everything's alleged right now, but it's alleged. That's the key. We love that word in this business.
Alleged.
But, they obviously didn't need to do anything because they were playing so well with regular footballs that there wasn't an issue. So it's an interesting situation, and the other thing is, if this wasn't the Patriots, I don't know whether this much would be made out of it. I truly believe that, because as you know, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady are the biggest coach, the biggest quarterback in the NFL today, and anything happens to them, it has something to do with breaking the rules after the Spygate controversy, it is going to be blown out of proportion and big news. So it is what it is. We're going to deal with this for the next week until the kickoff. So, Robert, what are your thoughts on Inflategate or Deflategate or whatever you want to call it right now?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have more than a few Patriot fans in my friend circle, my friend zone, if you will. It's interesting to see how they have handled this. They're very defensive. They think that it's.
I wonder why.
They don't see what the big deal is. They look at the outcome of the game. They say, clearly the footballs didn't have any sort of, huge advantage. The Colts didn't do anything in that game. That's really what decided it. But, they also miss the fact that rules are rules.
Right.
And just like it was with Spygate, the NFL is going to look into it, I think. If there's any punishment, they'll hand it down. But for me, what it comes down to is, it is silly. These different rules. I mean, you hear all these stories from other quarterbacks and from other teams and college and pro. And I read a story on Yahoo Sports the other day from an equipment manager, I guess, for a college team. He didn't identify himself, but he said, "Oh, this goes on at all levels. You know, a lot of teams and so on." And you got to believe them. I mean, you've heard the same thing in the NFL. So, to me, I don't think it's a big deal in the sense that, I don't see this, deflating the ball as being a huge advantage. You still have to play the game.
Right.
We're not talking about steroids here. We're talking about, footballs. And the bottom line is, it's still pigskin. It's still, it's still, same shape. Taking a little air out of it might make it a little softer, but it doesn't change the dynamics. So.
I think the big issue is the intent. The Patriots were, if they are guilty or if they did actually do something and it's been proven that they try to circumvent the rules.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because you want, I think fair play is a key term here. I mean, you want to think that the game, that the opponent that you're playing, that they're playing by the rules, because you're trying to play by the rules.
Yeah.
And the fact that an early leak on this thing said that 11 of the 12 balls that the Patriots were using were underinflated, and that none of the Colts footballs were underinflated. I think that screams volumes that something was going on here. There was an attempt to circumvent the rules, and irregardless of whether the Patriots gained a competitive advantage or not, again, it is that intent to circumvent the rules that I think will get the Patriots in trouble. And the fact that they've been in trouble before for circumventing the rules I think leads to a harsh penalty. That being said, number one, from what I'm hearing, we're not going to get a resolution of this till after the Super Bowl. So anybody's idea that Bill Belichick would be suspended for the Super Bowl, it's a folly. It's ludicrous. It's not going to happen. The NFL's not going to do that. Okay. Now, could there be a suspension next year? Possibly. I mean, we saw what happened with the Saints with Bountygate, that Sean Payton was suspended for an entire season, which was pretty drastic. But obviously, that's a little bit different, where you're trying to intentionally hurt your opponent for financial gain. So this is a little bit different on that scale. My prediction, and I'm just throwing this out there, is I believe that there will be something found to this, and that the Patriots will be docked a third or fourth round draft pick, and they will be fined about $250,000. That's my prediction. So, and again, realistically, they did not gain a competitive advantage by this, but they did try to break the rules. There has to be a punishment. There is a past record. You could say that the Patriots, that they're on probation, kind of, because of the Spygate, and that this will be dealt with harshly. But it will have no impact on the Super Bowl. I mean, besides being a distraction, that the Patriots are going to have to answer a bazillion questions about this. So
yeah, for me the punishment part is going to be interesting because of Spygate. Mm-hmm. You have that past. It's like with anything in sports, and especially the NFL, based on their policies. If you're a first time offender, a little more lenient. But if you've done this before, to some degree, that's factored into the decision of how is the NFL going to punish you? What's the fine going to be? What else comes with that? Docking draft picks,
right.
Whatever. I could see it being slightly harsher than the Spygate penalty.
Yeah.
Because really, the Spygate fiasco wasn't that long ago. It's still fresh in a lot of football players' minds.
8 years ago, really.
Yeah. So, I think given that time frame and the fact that now this comes up, and if they find that it's if it just happened in this one game, mm-hmm. I think that's one thing. But if they can find a record, right. Or document that this happened over the course of many games, mm-hmm. I think the Patriots are going to be in some trouble here.
Yeah, and the Colts allegedly had told the NFL that they thought this was going on the first time they had played the Patriots in November. Yeah. So, again, if there's a track record here, then I think it may be dealt with harshly. I'll say this, though. If the NFL really wanted to show that they're taking this seriously and that they really will be, I don't know if the word fair is here, but that they will deal with this sternly, is you bench Brady and you suspend Belichick for one game during the regular season. I think there's draft picks don't mean anything. With the Patriots, first-round draft pick for 1 year hurts a little bit, but realistically, you can survive the loss of a first-round draft pick. The Bills are going to find that out later this year, aren't they? When they lost their first-round draft pick. Not trying to throw dirt or anything, you know that. But I'm just saying that you lose first-round, you trade a first-round draft pick, you can live without a first-round draft pick. The money, something's like my friend Orlando Alzagari says on his radio show down in Miami. The NFL prints money. Okay, $250,000 to Bob Kraft is pocket change. Okay, it's not going to affect him. The only way you really
That's
would
an
affect him
allowance.
would be a multi-million-dollar fine, and
Right.
you're not going to get that for this, okay?
No.
So the only way you really get the point across to the Patriots that this will not be condoned, and obviously a deterrent for other NFL teams not to try things like this, is you sit Belichick and Brady for one game. And you make it a tough game too, not an easy game like when they're playing the Dolphins or something, okay? Or the Bills. I'll be fair there. You make it a tough game where they're playing a real opponent that can actually beat them.
So you wouldn't want Brady and Belichick.
Oh, that'd be great if it happened that way, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Hey, we did beat them. I mean, we both our teams beat them once this year, so it can be done. But that being said, and no jokes here, I think that if they do find that this actually did happen, that it had happened before, that they did try to gain a competitive advantage, whether they did or not, but they did try, the intent was there. I think Belichick and Brady have to sit. Even if Belichick didn't know, because he's the head coach, he's the boss, he's got to pay the price for this. He's the guy where the buck stops. You got to suspend him for at least one game. Brady, obviously, you figure the quarterback's going to know what's going on with these footballs. There's no way that Brady does not know what's going on with them, okay? It's his bread and butter, it's his livelihood, he's going to know. So he has to sit one game. That's the only way this is going to get across. It's not going to be the Super Bowl, folks. Sorry, Seahawks fans. Not going to be that. But it had the regular season game next year. So
It's too bad it wasn't the Pro Bowl, right?
God, I'm not watching that this weekend. By the way, this will be a football-free weekend. I'm going to catch up on reading. I got some magazines and some television. You know, I got some.
I couldn't even tell you what time the game's on.
I think it's 8:00
Yeah, probably.
on ESPN.
Yeah.
But that's not a plug. So
To me, lately, I may flip it on for a few minutes, but that's it.
I can
That's
see it.
it.
Look at the Pro Bowl. Oh, look at it. I think I'll stick around for a
I'd
little
rather
while.
watch tape delay NASCAR
Wow.
than the Pro Bowl.
Wow. Is the Puppy Bowl on? The Kitten Bowl? No, that's not. They do that during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But no,
Gotta wait another week.
I'll be reading. Trust me. It's a great day to be reading. It's wintertime here in the Northeast. It's a good time to be reading. So, anything else you want to add, Robert?
No, I think we covered
All
it.
right, folks, that's it. No picks this week, but hey, we'll be picking the big one next week, folks. That's going to be a fun one. So until then, we'll see you next week, and enjoy your weekend.